Make me feel you still love me. If it's just for one more day. Dices que me dejas y mi corazón muy triste está. Si te has de ir, no me digas que te quiero hasta el fin. El amor de los dos no se me puede olvidar. Si te has de ir lejos de mí, no lo quiero saber. And break it to me gently. Give me time, oh, give me a little time to ease the pain. If you must go, then go slowly, 'cause I'll never love again. Si te has de ir lejos de mí, no lo quiero saber. And break it to me gently. Give me time, oh, give me a little time to ease the pain. Love me just a little longer, 'cause I'll never love again. 'Cause I'll never love
Wacky Wednesday. Wacky Wednesday.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Unfiltered. The real deal. No pre-planning. No chingaderas. Straight up from the bill.
Wacky Wednesday.
B-Town's very own.
It's Wacky Wednesday con El Bumper.
Here's your host, Bumper Gomez.
I was doing your crowd for you, man.
And we're live. Welcome to another episode of Bumper's Wacky Wednesday. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Wednesday, a hump day. You know, whatever you call it.
Hump day.
Hump day, yeah, I guess hump day. I don't know whoever came up with that, but that kind of stuck, man. I'm excited. I'm nervous.
Oh, Lord.
You know what? I'm not as nervous as I was the first time. But, you know, Shelly was very professional. She showed up here like way before on time.
Oh, yeah.
And so we got to chit chat a little bit. You guys are in store for a great show. And if you know Shelly, and if you don't, well, after tonight's show, you're going to know who Shelly Lares is. So again, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, my guest tonight, my guest for Bumper's Wacky Wednesday is a pillar in the Tejano music world. It is an honor and surely a privilege to have such a person, of small stature. Might I say
it's
that?
my mama's fault. I
Small
get it from my
stature,
mama.
but in the time that I've gotten to know her, I see why they call her Little Miss Dynamite. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my host, look at me, dude. I'm all,
You want me to take over your show?
It's
That's
there
what's
you go.
happening.
Please welcome Miss Shelly Lares to Bumpers
Thank
Wacky
you guys.
Wednesday.
Thank you guys. Thank y'all for joining us, man. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. My second time. And
Don't say it too loud. You're gonna be people be like, I haven't even made it one time.
I know. Hey, I earned this spot.
No, for sure.
I earned it. Get in line.
That
schmucks.
is for
Get in
sure.
line. But no, we're live here, of course, on your Facebook Live and YouTube, and of course, I'm on my TikTok as well. So thanks for having me. We're super excited to be talking today. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of fans already asking me so many questions like, why are you gonna retire? All kinds of stuff. But yeah, there's some people that are still kind of didn't know about it, and so they act surprised, or they are surprised.
I'm still acting surprised.
Yeah, I mean, my mom really put it to me best. I think she was watching. Serena Williams was talking about her retirement from tennis, and I think what Serena Williams said something to the effect is like, "I'm not retiring, I'm evolving." And I was like, wow, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm doing.
For sure.
I mean, I'm just not going to be on the road anymore. I'm not going to be doing shows, which is, I make it sound like it's not a big deal, but it really is a big deal. Mainly because it's been my passion for 40 years. It's been my livelihood for 40 years. And, I'm going to miss people's faces. Absolutely. But,
I mean, for a lot of people watching, Shelly, 40 years, man.
yeah.
So there's some people watching, they're not even 40 years old.
I know.
So,
There's a lot of them at my show.
That's what makes this wild. And,
I've been doing it as long as my girlfriend's been alive. For real. She's 40. Isn't that crazy?
you're rocking the cradle, your
I
madre.
know. There's a 12-year difference here,
Oh, man.
No,
So I want to
somewhere
throw
around
this
there.
out there for everybody that's in the chat room. There's so many things that I want to cover with Shelly. So if we don't get to your question, please don't feel offended or whatnot. If I look over and it grabs me, I might say it. If it's your first time watching Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, welcome.
Welcome.
We bring you the best in La Onda Tejana week in and week out, from the new artists to the existing artists.
And you bring in other people, not only artists. You bring in
bringing other people with cultura,
whether it's,
anything with our
radio
culture, man.
DJs or promoters or influencers.
There you
like
go.
yourself, that's pretty awesome because, first of all, congratulations. Because I mean, it's even grown more since I was here with you last.
We're the award-winning Bumpers
That is
Wacky Wednesday.
so awesome, as it should be. Because I think, you were really helping contribute documenting Tejano music. And I think that's one thing that we lack a lot of, documenting our genre and the journeys of, the pioneers, the people that paved
Right.
the way for us, because there's a lot of stories that God only knows. I've talked to David Mares about this, and I'm like, dang, I can only imagine the stories that you would share with me with the Royal Jesters on the road. Ruben Ramos, I mean, shoot. I've
What
heard
their eyes have seen.
I mean,
hey, but tonight's about what Shelly Lares' eyes
I've
have
seen
seen.
I've seen a lot.
So
I've seen the bare nalgas of Tejano music, that's for sure.
Damn, like that. So before I forget, Shelly, I want to throw a big shout out. They're actually working really hard.
Yes.
Some ladies of St. Paul, my wife being one of them, they're actually out there making
Royals.
baskets for their axe. I think they're doing a fundraiser for the women's axe retreat. So
Awesome.
if they're watching, and if you're not and you missed your shout out, well, there's your shout out. But we do have a St. Paul Royal
I'm a graduate.
alumni right here.
Yes, 1986.
So,
Thank you very much. Once a Royal, always a Royal.
There you are. And you know what, man? We found St. Paul when we moved here from California, and you know where we live.
Yeah.
You know where St. Paul's
Yeah.
at. We go there that's our church.
Yeah, I know. It's far from here.
It's
far
is.
from here, but I mean, I would think,
It's
it's
a
a
home,
little
though.
drive.
Yeah,
it's a little
for sure.
drive.
So again, like I said, Shelly Lares is here, and I really want to open her book, and it's Wacky Wednesday, so we don't start like chapter 1, the preface. Like we might go from chapter 12
Yeah.
to chapter 1, chapter 2, back and forth. that's just the way I am. So again, welcome to the show. And Shelly,
you.
thank you for coming and hanging out with me, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And right before a very important day tomorrow.
Oh man, yeah, I posted a little bit earlier that I was having, because a lot of people have been asking me, has it really hit you yet, that you're retiring to your last year? And I've been so busy that it really hasn't like I thought it would, but I do have my moments. It just depends. And usually I have the moments by myself. I don't have it like in public. But I will say this, in Vegas, I had a little bit on stage when I was thanking the fans, and when I thanked my parents, especially when I talked about my mom and dad. That's really when I got emotional. And then when I was performing with Monica Saldivar, of course we were doing No Me Olvides, which is my 1998 hit that we redid on her deluxe album. And I was standing there, and I had told her, on your verse the next time around, I want you to take the catwalk. That's your connection with the fans by yourself at that time. So she did. And I was standing back there and like just seeing her in the front of the catwalk and the crowd just taking pictures of her. I just stood there. I was performing still, but I was still in the moment. It was weird. It was very surreal. It was like, okay, yeah, this is the next generation starting. So that made me emotional. But today I had a moment because the Mexican Fiesta is a very special event to me, because I've been going there since 91, 92. I've done many shows there. I have a lot of amazing fans from the Midwest, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Of course, we have Illinois,
Michigan,
Indiana,
Ohio.
Michigan, Ohio, especially. And so I've been performing in those areas a lot of years. And then, of course, backing up the New Girls again is just a part of me that is just very grateful, and it's very emotional at the same time.
Today, when I was driving home, I something came to my head. I was thinking like, man, I'm interviewing Shelly tonight. Like, bump, get your shit together, right? And so, I thought, yes, she's gonna retire from, like you said, from performing, right? But the way you mentor these young artists, male and female,
Yeah.
the way you mentor these artists, in a sense, Shelly's really not going away.
No.
Because she's gonna have her fingerprints on a lot of things that are to come, that are still to come. So, that made me it gave me a warm and fuzzy as a Tejano music fan. It gave me a warm and fuzzy in the sense of like, I know your fingerprints are gonna be out there.
Yeah.
We might not see
absolutely.
your face,
Right.
but
Right.
you
My
sprinkled your fairy dust and that.
Exactly.
And
my
that,
influence is there, not only with artists, but my genre period, with award shows and different organizations, different with promoters, with clubs, you name it. Like I do a lot of consulting. I do a lot of that. A lot.
Paid consulting?
In different things. Like I'm a consultant to anything. If an artist calls to ask me about how to become an artist, or if they want to record a record.
Do you stop
or a
them after
song.
2 sentences and say, "Hey, this is my Cash App. I get paid." Hey, consultants get paid.
Yeah. No, really, I haven't. And there's a few reasons why I don't. I always knew as a child that there was music. Of course, was one of my main gifts. I knew it very young, like super small, 5 years old. I knew music was something that God chose me to do. But I also knew that I wanted to do something outside of music also. So, I think I had an epiphany this year of realizing the main gift that I have is helping people. That is like the main thing, which is why I am a mentor, which is why I am choosing to go into nursing, because I'm still helping people on different levels, but, very important levels. And as a veteran artist, I feel, I feel not an obligation in a bad way, but it's a way for me to thank my genre for allowing me to be here for 40 years and for it to be this good to me. It just kind of comes second nature. It's like right away, they ask me a question, boom, I just start going off. This, what you do, this, what you don't do. And everybody's journey is different, and they're going to have their journeys. They're going to learn their own way, because I think I've seen, and I made a post about this the other day. I said, people may think that the artists that I mentor, that I'm the one that's helping them get the success. You know what I mean? Like they're riding on my coattails type of thing. And that's far from the truth. What I am doing is I'm educating them in certain areas that I know no one else will, because they don't want you to know, first and foremost. And second of all, I'm just giving them opportunities, and what they do with those opportunities is up to them. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I mean, they have the talent.
You're still leaving the ball. You're still leaving the ball in their court.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, that's what a mentor should do, right?
Yeah.
A mentor shouldn't like hold you up and say, "This is what you do." No. Hey, you got to learn how to fall, get up. But hey, did you learn from where you fell?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe next time don't do this or don't do that.
And I mean, and I tell them, because, in this industry, the music industry is really difficult. It's hard. It's a hard business. A lot of people don't know how hard it is. It's a difficult business, financially, mentally, physically. It can be challenging, but so are a lot of other things. Okay. But I always have, my father always instilled in me, you always have to be a step ahead. You always have to be a step ahead of who you're working with, whether it's a promoter, whether it's a label, whatever. And you always have to make them understand that you know what's going on. So when I bring certain situations up, if an artist calls me that they've had a bad experience with something, I'll tell them, okay, well, look, this is because this. And they're like, oh.
Didn't think about it like that. Yeah.
I see that, So that's really what I'm doing right now. And it's not for any sort of validation, because my validation is their success, because that's what makes me proud of them.
Right.
To know that, they're seeing it. And most of them still have a long way to go. I tell them, and my job also is not only as a mentor, but as a producer as well, is to keep one's head out of the clouds. Don't think just because you've had one single out and it's doing so well that's it, I done made it. I'm like, you got a long way to go.
You better be like your dad said, you better be one step ahead.
Yeah.
So speaking of your dad, Shelly, like, the last time you were here, we spoke a little bit on your parents, and, I believe they gave up their business to follow you along. So my question would be right off the bat, did your dad, being one step ahead, right? He was a business owner. Now, was he in music business before?
Never in music.
Or kind of just learned it as he went with you?
No, well, mom and dad were both musicians per se. Well, my mom sang. My mom and a lot of my aunts on my mom's side, her sisters, were musically inclined. My father and his brothers were musically inclined. But as far as, and my brother, my father had a conjunto with his brothers before I was born, but they would just do little cantinas and stuff. Not a business, per se. So not really. I mean, the three of us went into this industry like green as can be, like knowing nothing about it. But my mom and I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old when I joined my first band, Hot Tamales Orquesta. And I stayed with them for 4 years, which was an amazing experience because I learned so much from those guys. I mean, just watching. And what I've always remembered myself being so like, I would study things like if they were playing an instrument, or they were, Manny Guerra was working the sound, engineering the record. I was just watching and learning and wondering how this worked and how that worked. And they would be putting arrangements together, and I'd be paying attention to who's doing what. And you wouldn't think so of a 10-year-old, But I was absorbing everything, and I was watching, and I was learning. And but with mom and dad, no, we went into it, and I stayed till I was 14. But when I was 13, 14, I told my dad, yeah, that's it. I'm ready to have my own band now, because I didn't want to just stay in San Antonio. I wanted to get out. And, that's when, once I would do gigs, here and there, performing around town with my band. Then at 17, when Manny Guerra signed me, he sat us down. And that's when I was at Providence High School by this time. And, cause that's one thing I'm so thankful for my parents, cause they still wanted me to have the normalcy of life, in school. School was always first, was first in my household, and if I didn't do well, then I couldn't sing. Those were the rules.
That's it. Period, point blank.
That was it. You didn't do well in school, You couldn't perform no more. So I'm very thankful for that because, when I signed with Manny, he sat us down and he's like, I was a junior in high school by this time. And he's like, well, if you're going to have any success in this industry, you're going to have to go full time. You're going to have to take Shelly full time. And that's when mom and dad really said, okay, well, we got to close up shop because we're going to go full time. And we played free so many times. We got burned and, we did what we had to do to get my name out there.
What year are we talking right here, Shelly? Like
1989.
1989, So right now, and I mean, if you take back our music, 1989, female artists were
still very, very,
very
scarce.
minimum. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, all I can remember, my mom, like growing up, the only female artist I knew before Shelly Lares, before Selena, was Laura Canales.
Absolutely, yeah, because she was La Reina. That was one of the very first true vocalists of our industry. And
her voice is just
and it will always be. But if you look back at all of the greats, to me, if you look back at any of the great females, all of them are so different. Laura Canales, of course, Elsa Garcia, Patsy Torres, Janie C. Ramirez, Linda Escobar, Selena, and myself were the only females in the industry at this time.
I mean, if you stop and think about that, like, I know you say that, but if you stop and think what you just said, like, that's less than 10.
Oh yeah,
right. That's less than 10.
Yeah,
carrying. This industry where it was, dominated by male.
When people say male dominated, I don't believe that anymore because it's not anymore. As far as what I mean by that is, you hear more women often on radio now. You still don't see them in lineups of shows as much as I would like for you to see, but it's a lot further than when I started, but you're right. We would want to hear our record and we would listen for 2 hours, 3 hours. You would hear a female once every 2 hours easily. And so if I went through those, and Selena and I both went through those, throughout the years, can you imagine what, like your Laura and your Patsy and your Elsas, the women before us, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Through.
What they went through. But
I heard
stories,
Laura. I heard Laura was she.
Laura didn't play.
She didn't play around. There's some stories. I'm not gonna go over the stories and tell you who told me.
She was one of the guys. Laura was one of the guys.
She's literally would go in the back room and demand.
Oh yeah.
Same way, but a lot of that's you. Like you walk into somewhere. If you guys have never been around Shelly Lares, I'll tell you. This is the simplest way to put it. There could be 15 people in a room. When Shelly Lares walks in, Shelly Lares is the alpha. That's period. I don't care how manly you are or how feminine you are. Shelly Lares is the alpha. Like for me. It's I'm not into all that stuff. But like your aura, like your character.
And it's weird. I never felt like I had a strong aura because I am an introvert. Believe it or not. I think when I'm home, when I'm just Shell. Being Shell, I am an introvert. I do have my quiet moments. I do have my moments where I just like to chill by myself and be in my thoughts. But I didn't have that. And I think that all comes from your confidence. I think it comes from your experience and the respect that you've earned. I tell these new artists, there's 3 relationships that are in your life that are important relationships. First, your relationship with God. Then your relationship with your significant other, if you have that. Third are your business relationships. And all of those relationships need to be healthy in all ways.
All the time.
So I've always working with people who I have a good relationship with, right? Because if I don't, then it's just not going to I don't care how good a music we can make together or how many shows we could do together or whatever the case may be. If it's not healthy, how good a musician you are, if we're not gelling, it's just not going to happen. I won't have you around me. And I think, because I've worked so hard to build these relationships, and I have many in Tejano music. I have a lot of relationships in Tejano. So they're healthy. So that's why I'm able to, sometimes if things aren't getting done, someone calls me, hey, we're trying to get a hold of someone and we can't. And I'm like, okay, I make a phone call and they call him back.
Yeah.
But that's something I've earned. I've worked for that.
No, for
I don't come in and demand. I didn't come in as a brand new artist and say, I need this.
Do you think that, people respect you in a sense that, how can I put it? They're not going to cross you, right? Like, you know what I mean? That's the way, I mean, it's Shelly Lares, like whatever she needs, I'm going to, help you out. However, is there people that are in the industry that you maybe shake hands with? Like, hello, how you doing? But
oh yeah, I keep a lot of people at arm's length. I really do.
There you go. That's what I mean.
So,
because in the 2 years that I've been doing this, like I've really, there's not too many people, but there's some people that I've met, and it's like I know when I turn my back, they're probably gonna be like, este vato or whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm okay, but just as long as you're not gonna like ignore me or whatever, hey, you shake my hand, whatever you want to say behind my back, that is what it is. But you've been doing it for 40 years, Shelly.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
And when you say relationships, I mean, that's a lot of 40 years in the industry. That's a lot of relationships.
I do, and they're all different. They're all different from each other. My friendships, I have some that I cherish, more to a deeper level for whatever reason. And then I have some that, I'm cordial. But I mean, I think I've always held myself on a professional level. When I'm working, and that's one of the reasons why I've been able to be around for 40 years. It's because, I have kept a business mentality. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's still your passion, right? But you'd be totally naive and you'd be in la la land if you thought that all you can just go by is your passion. Because if you wanted to succeed and you want to do well and you want to make a legacy, should I say, for yourself in this industry, it's going to take a lot of business mentality. It is, no matter how you look at it. But I think I'm an easy person to work with too, in a sense that I treat people how I would want to be treated. I mean, that's my Catholic school upbringing. Hello. I mean, do unto others.
That's rule number one.
That's rule number one. Do unto others,
For
right?
sure.
So, but I think people are going to know too from me. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff either, because I don't. I get that from my mom and my dad, but a lot from my mom. My mom is very blunt. She says how she feels, and I think there's sometimes where it just calls for that. And it's not to be in a hurtful way, right? That's not what I mean. I'm just saying, I'm not here to stroke egos. I'm here to tell you how it legitimately is. This is how it really is.
But that goes again to what I'm saying. Like, Shelly Lares she's going to come in the room and she's going to be like, hey.
And I'd like to think that's
like,
part
you think
of my,
those shoes look good? Those shoes look dumb. Why are you wearing those shoes?
I think those are two things there. Those are my fact that I'm a Scorpio, don't cross me type thing. And I think the second is, I think that's just my leadership quality that I have. I mean, I just automatically take the reins when I have to.
There is people in this world, being a Marine for 20 plus years, like there's I've met people who just instantly they're leaders, and there's people who are just followers. And there's nothing wrong with being a follower. It's just some people are just like, and they don't mean to. It's just in them. Like they're born like that.
Yeah.
They're just born leaders.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I want to give a shout out to everybody, especially all the artists that are watching. There's a tons of Tejano artists watching.
Tell me who it is.
Miguel, Jordan Rodriguez, Carla Cristina.
My peeps.
Miguel has been asking over and over again, is she playing at Jaime's pace or not? I need to know.
No, I'm not. I'm like, no.
And then before I forget, Shelly, big happy birthday to my niece, Penelope.
Oh, happy birthday.
She turns 3.
Oh, my goodness, 3 years old.
So there you go. It's my brother,
birthday,
Edward.
Mama.
You were talking earlier about, the show documenting and stuff. My buddy of mine, Buddy, he has It's Tejano Time from Dallas.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He has a lot of awesome Shelly Lares videos.
He has a lot of old
school stuff.
Yes, he does.
And so he just started a show. I watched it yesterday. So if you guys, it's Tejano time. Follow him on YouTube. He's just getting
He's been
started.
asking me for some videos, and I told him I have to reformat them because I have them in VHS form.
Do you still have boxes of VHS?
Oh my gosh. My father used
It's like, she does.
Mia's here with me. Yes, I mean my father saved everything, like everything.
Poster, save it.
When COVID hit, and I went and cleaned out the storage area, that's when I was like, holy crap! Daddy had like my '90s merchandise. He had all my albums. He had cassettes. He has VHS, and pictures, posters, everything. Right. So. Yeah, I have hundreds of VHS.
And you had to go clean that up?
Yeah, and then Mom and I were like, "Holy crap, Dad kept a lot of stuff."
Hey, don't you hate when you go to do a job like that, or go to you're gonna go, I'm just gonna get it cleaned out, and then you open a box and it's like, hey, remember this?
That's exactly.
Hey, remember this? Next thing you know, you don't get nothing done. You made more of a mess than what's
exactly. But no, I remember my father saying, he would save stuff and he'd be like, "Mija, one of these days, this is going to make money for you. This is going to be a collector's item or blah, blah, blah." And at the time, you're like, yeah, Dad, okay, I'm not going to be a collector's item. But it's true. Then we hit, we started accumulating things for the vault, which was on my website. We called it the vault, which was all my 90s merchandise, like legit, still good shape merchandise, like my Apaga la Luz tour shirts and... what else?
Any
Albums,
silk jackets? Any shiny jackets with the?
We sold out of those jackets. Those
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
With the
silk
three
jackets.
three white stripes and the thing.
Actually, I had some made like specifically for Mia and I.
Little pink ladies.
And when I wear mine is gray with pink, and hers is red with white. And whenever we've worn them, people are like, "Oh my God, I want one of those jackets." So, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have them this winter. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to make some.
Are you going to have, for the people in Milwaukee, are you going to have merch out there?
Absolutely going to have our merch. The girls are going to have merch also. We're going to do the meet and greets, of course, after the shows. But yeah, I mean, merch is super important. It's one of my money makers.
One thing I want to, for the people to take in is, she said meet and greet. And, there's some artists that I've interviewed that, they're just really busy or like they got other things to do after a show. But I personally, with my own eyes, this last fanfare, I saw this beautiful lady sitting next to me stay way past 1 a.m. I mean, it was closer to probably like 1:40-ish.
Yeah, it was late.
At fanfare, signing autograph after autograph and taking pictures. Don't ask me while I was still out there till 1:40 in the morning.
You were just hanging. You were just watching.
No. I actually went, I'm going to be real. I went underneath the bridge to take a nap in my car because some friends of ours had a hotel and my wife and them were partying. And I said, man, I'm just going to wait. My wife's going to call me and say, hey, she's ready to go. Whatever. So I'm like, I'm not going to. I'm tired. I've been here all day. I want to take a nap. So, but then when I left, I looked and
I was still there.
They're all clean,
They were cleaning
they make
around
that place
us.
clean up real quick.
They were
and there was Shelly still in her stand signing autographs. I'm like,
I wanted to wait till the last person
goodness,
because they'd waited for so long, and that's what fanfare is. I mean, that's what it should be. It should be you interacting with the fans. And I knew it was my last fanfare too. Not that I hadn't done that years before, because I've always done that. And it's so funny because sometimes, social media is it's so positive. It could be used so positively, but sometimes you get those people that, for whatever reason, are negative, whatever. And I've laughed at a couple when they're like, no, she doesn't talk to nobody. I'm like, okay, you're thinking of the wrong person, because I talk to everybody. And, whether I was in Vegas, whether I'm at my shows, whether I'm after, I mean, I can be on stage for 2 hours straight. My feet, and Mia can vouch, like my feet are freaking on fire with my heels. I'm tired. My back hurts, and I've been having back problems for a good while, and then wearing heels and, standing there still talking to people. I mean, I do it because I just want people to know how much I appreciate them, especially which is why I wanted to retire in my prime, because I wanted to be able to say thank you personally. for the years, for the support, whether it was one CD you bought or a cassette, I don't know.
Pinche
You know,
track.
gone to one of my shows. I mean, it's important. Requested my music or whatever the case may be. I just like to show people that I really do appreciate the support.
And you definitely have been putting on shows, you know. I mean, every Shelly Lares show that I've ever been to, it's a show. You know what I mean? You're not gonna, if you sit down, there's something really wrong with you. Like, I mean, maybe you just can't stand up physically, right?
Yeah.
But you know, seeing you at Fanfare, man, this last time, I got, you know, I get the little VIP treatment, so we
It
right
was
there,
packed.
and I had a cousin there. He's from Beeville, and he was in this thing. He goes, "Dude, how did you get Shelly Lares to say your name twice?" She said your name twice during this performance. I said, "Dude, it's because we're just right there." And
That's
you know,
funny.
she's looking down in front of us, and she makes eye contact, and you know, she says what comes to her head.
That
but
is funny.
you know, being there, Shelly, you're on the stage for us. It's amazing, dude. It really is. And I think it's, for me, it's more amazing as a fan is because I grew up with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I get
I
a
mean,
lot
we're
of
not
that.
too
It's-
far apart in age, but I mean, when I was young, you were already performing. So
Yeah.
that, you know, I
It's-
did.
it's
You
funny.
literally, we grew up with you.
I love that because I get a lot of that. I mean, I get 4 generations of fans, if you really think about it. And that's one of my favorites when people tell me, I grew up with you. Or a fan will say, I grew up with you and then I got my kids into your music and now my grandkids are into your music because my grandmother got me into your music. So it's insane. Sometimes when you hear that, it's like, and I guess because it's me, like you're for yourself, you don't really step outside
the box.
for a little
Right.
bit to look in. Another moment I told you, I have certain moments right now where certain things hit me, the fact of where I'm at and where I'm going. But the live recording that we did in Vegas, you know, I was in Vegas and it was like any other show to me, to be honest. I mean, it was special to me that it was the last show. But I'm talking about in the live recording sense. I didn't keep it in my mind like we're recording. I just forgot, right? I wasn't thinking about it. And when I got into the studio with Sevi and he and I were mixing and working on it, he had gone outside, and I don't know. Again, I had my moment where I'm listening and I'm like, dang, there's a lot of years. There's a lot of years that has gone into this, and it just, I had that moment.
I think from here forward, you're gonna those are gonna get stronger and
I
stronger.
think so, absolutely.
Like in the beginning of the year, you're probably like, I got the year, I got
mean,
some more
don't get me
coming.
wrong, y'all.
And now it's just getting
No,
shorter. You're like,
don't get
oh,
me
hell.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. Last night we were at my mama's. We were loading up the trailer, me and Mia, and we were tired. It was hot out there, and it was just us, she and I, because don't get it twisted. I'm not a diva in that sense, okay? I load and unload my own stuff too. Still, I do what I got to do.
Shelly, come on.
So we were
Mia.
there. We were there.
The guys are the princesses.
If you hear what she said, the guys are the princesses.
Yeah. So I was like, I was just tired. It had been a long day, you know, prepping and all kinds of things. And I told my mom, I'll be so happy when this is done. I said, because people have no idea physically how much it is to go on the road, and more so in a sense, not so much physically that I'm tired, you know, like, okay, I don't want to be on the road anymore. But to be honest, because one, I do have other ventures that I want to take on. And two, I really just want to be with my family more. I mean, that is like one of the biggest things is I want to be
Just
with my
absorb it
family.
all, to be around
Because
for
I mean,
everything.
I wasn't here for some of my nieces and nephews being born. I wasn't here for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, for New Year's Eve, because that's like the biggest time
Party,
show of
yeah,
the year.
everybody, yeah.
You know, I mean, that's when we get paid the best. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So there were a lot of, it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice to be on the road. And, you know, that's what I tell the new artists. I'm like, I know y'all want to be out there, but understand.
Be careful what you ask for.
It's going to, yeah, because, and everybody wishes for that little rock star life, you know, but, and it is great. It does have its ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. It's not all horrible. But it is a lot of hard work and a lot of hours on the road. You're tired, you're hungry, it's like we've had so many experiences. And now I think more than anything, I'm really wishing that I would have documented it a lot more than I did. But
that was a comment somebody put, like, from now until you think you need a vlog.
Yeah,
you need a vlog. Mia, you need a vlog.
Wait, God, they wanted me to do I've had people tell me, do a podcast and then
honestly, when you do hang up the microphone and the sticks at the end of this year, me personally, I think a Shelly Lares podcast would be amazing, because you could, it's not like you do anything different, right? You're going to do what you want to do. But I think artists could really learn from it, right? Because, because the people you really touch are the people who come to you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not all people are going to be like, hey, Shelly, I need help. There's somebody could watch you and be like, you know what? She's right.
Yeah.
Just like we talked about last time, your motivational Mondays.
Yeah.
I love your motivational Mondays.
Yeah.
But when you were here last, you told me that, Bump, those motivational Mondays take some time and effort to put together.
Because
it's not just something you just throw together.
Yeah, I have to be feeling, because that's motivating myself as well. I'm being motivated. I'm not just doing it to tell the fans. So yeah, it does. It takes a lot of time. This last one, I really liked it. I really liked it because what it sent was, so many times we wait for the opportunity, and we need to make the opportunity happen. That's the difference. You got to put things into motion, because trust you me, not only in the music business, but anything in life, it's not going to come to you. It's not going to come to you. If you want it that bad, you got to go get it. You always got to go get it. You always got to start. And in the industry, you got to work to stay relevant. You got to be consistent. People don't understand. I've heard artists that have said, "Oh, I've been doing music for 25 years," and you look back at their were they on the road? Were they recording? No, they did in the 90s. They took a break, but they came back. Oh, but that doesn't count. You stopped. You took about 15, 20 years. You don't get to count those years.
You don't get to count those years.
You don't get to count them years.
You start all over again.
Thank you very much. So, I've recorded music consistently. And did all of them hit? No. But I was always doing things that spoke to me, because the integrity of what I do is always in the forefront of my mind. Do everything with integrity, no matter what. And I just always did what I felt meant something to me. The other day, Jonathan Espinosa was so sweet. He posted something, because I like to watch what the young producers do as well, because I'm a fan too. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of Tejano music, and that's how I learned, Carla Cristina. I became a fan of her voice.
She sings and
she's freaking amazing.
Woo!
And these girls and guys, they do things I can only dream of vocally. So when I heard his stuff, he reminded me so much of JJ Reyes, who was my co-producer, co-arranger. And there were certain things that he would do that I'd be like, man, that's a JJ thing. Like, JJ would have done something like that. So I mentioned that to him, and he posted that, long before we were creating our own lane, in our music, and we were doing, not because of what was popular, but we were doing what spoke to us, and
what you wanted to do.
And to know that we inspired and got the attention of one musician and rising producer. That's big to me.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Jonathan's a beast too, man.
that is something amazing to me. And now I think the next venture, of course, as we know, I want to go to school. That is something for me that I've wanted to do for a long time.
What kind of school?
To go to nursing school.
So you got to make a shirt that says "From Heels to Crocs."
Oh, I won't wear Crocs. Sorry, Croc wearers. But
nurses wear Crocs, dude.
Not all of them. So
they wear those shiny ones that look like, I don't know, they're like shiny.
Guys, I'm gonna be the one that's repping the Jays. Okay. I'm gonna wreck the chase.
So if you get sick in about, I don't know, 2 years from now, and a nurse walks in, like, you know, a short nurse walks in covered up, but she's got Jordans, you never know. You might be in the presence of Little Miss Dynamite.
Well, actually, my ultimate goal, I guess, is to do end of life hospice. That's what I want to go into. And, you know, I've already had so many people asking me, you know, so many wonderful offers already. And I'm like, I haven't even started nursing school yet. But, you know, my cousin, she owns 2 hospice companies, one here in San Antonio, one in Eagle Pass. And, you know, I always know that I have a place with my cousin who can probably teach me a lot. She's got a, you know, her BSN in nursing. And so that's what I want to do. I want to go to school first and foremost. And, you know, I started Shell Shock Records, my label, in 2012. First of all, because I was tired of being with the label. I was just over it. I was so over it.
So for the people who don't really get that, Shelly, like break it down for us. So like when you're with a label, you know, is it the money or is it like, the way I see it is like, okay, they give you this big check up front, but once you take the check, it's like, okay, now you work for me. I need this album to be done by this time, and then it goes out, and then okay, 6 or 8 months go by, you need to start working on another album.
Yeah,
is that how it is, or
well, not all of them give you a check up front. Okay, the only ones that did that were the major companies. You know, your Sonys, your Capitals. I know Sony did that for us, but mind you. Okay, so when you do your contract, you agree on a percentage per unit, you know, which means record sell, if you will, selling album. But if they give you X amount up front, like they did us, I mean, we used every single penny of that for the recording. A lot of people did not. They used it for personal reasons, but we used it.
And then the recordings.
Yeah, you know, and then the recordings chops. But no, I mean, we used every single penny for the recordings. But think about it. If it's $64,000 up front, how many albums are you going to have to sell to? First, they have to recoup that. Then you get your whatever comes
money
in, right? I mean, which is a lot. I mean, and we sold, I mean, 90s, you know, yeah, we sold a lot of records. We sold a lot of records. All of us artists in the 90s, we sold a lot of records. But with the independent labels, I was weighing the issues. You know, when I first signed with Manny Guerra for 7 years, from 17 to, you know, 20 something, the benefit was he owned a studio. So that was a good thing. You know, we didn't have to really. We thought we really didn't have to pay for studio time. It all really, you wind up paying for it anyway. You wind up paying for it anyway.
Yeah, they get it on the back end. They get it on the back end.
You do. And you know, of course, we had numerous hits with Manny. We knew nothing about song publishing like that. You know, we just knew we wanted to be songwriters. But I think I shared this with you last time, but I'll share it with the fans that don't know. So from the first album of Tu Solo Tu, which was 1989, I was signed with Manny Guerra for 7 years. And we, as in me and JJ, you know, we wanted to write music. We wanted to write our own music. We wanted to produce our music. We wanted to arrange our music. And so, you know, between my bugging and my father bugging Manny Guerra, he finally said, okay, let Shelly and JJ arrange half of the album. So we did. And then by the second album, we were arranging and basically producing.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. Of course, Manny was still there, the second album, in the studio engineering. Then a few years later, he brought in Brian Redmore as engineer. And then by then I was like, Manny, you know, we don't need you in here anymore. We just let us do our own thing. You know, here I am telling the CEO, owner, you know, legendary producer, get the hell out, you know, basically.
That's basically what you're saying.
That's basically what I said. And he did. He got out. And, you know, we produced everything and arranged everything. But all of these years, he got credit for being my producer. When all reality was he was my executive producer. So that was very frustrating to us because, you know, we'd worked so hard at producing my music from scratch. And then, you know, I went with Sony for 5 years. I thought coming in with Sony, I was like, I had a lot of expectations, high expectations in being with the major label because I was wanting our major labels to take us to places we had never been, to markets we had never been. And we kind of did a little bit.
Such as?
I mean, just more international, you know, because the talent was there. I mean, there's a lot of talent at Tejano Music. And we were very capable of doing any genre we really wanted to.
I always take that. I don't know if you ever watch any of the other shows, but I always use what you told me the last time I use it. Matter of fact, I use it quite often. Is when I explain to people, especially people who don't understand Tejano music, the musicians in Tejano music are like no other because, you know, they can go and play any other genre of music, but if you get an artist from that genre to play Tejano, they'll look at you with their eyes crossed, like they don't know.
Because Tejano music is so intricate. People do not realize how beautiful and intricate Tejano is. It's its own style, and very unique style. So that's what I was hoping for. I mean, I got to go to Nashville. I got to record with Vince Gill. I got to, you know, work alongside some amazing country musicians, studio musicians. I mean, good Lord, I recorded with, you know, some of the best, some of Vince's musicians. And I mean, David Hungate played bass on my Shelly album, who was with Toto. I mean, yeah. I mean, and then Vince Gill just sitting in my session all day, every day when he really didn't have to. But he was intrigued by Tejano. He was loving what he was hearing because it was different. But that didn't happen. You know, we stayed a regional Mexican, that part of Sony. Not that that's a bad thing, but that's where we stayed. And then the 5 years came up and I'm like, okay, why don't I just stay independent? You know, let's just keep it small. We can dominate, you know, from here. Then I went with Tejas Records. Again, Tejas Records had a studio. So they had one of the best engineers ever, Brad Green, who was a genius in the studio. And working with Brad, we just clicked. We gelled quickly. He and I and JJ, the three of us, just right away. So that was the positive side of being with Tejas. The downfall of that was nothing was being done. Like, it just was, everything was half-ass.
Everything was what, Shelly?
Everything was half-assed. Everything was half-assed. The business side was half-assed. We were bringing good music to the table, and then just nothing. Just it would gone to shit. Everything,
it wasn't going anywhere with it.
Nothing.
I got you.
And it was so frustrating. And I did that for freaking 10 years. And let's not forget, when we went back to Manny, and we go back to Tejas, we made zero mechanical royalties. Zero. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
Has royalties changed from the 90s to now? Oh,
God, yeah. I mean, digital, you don't make much money digitally.
Isn't it like 0.00001
you know, you can,
for play?
And this is one thing that right now that it's in the front of my mind. I do have to tell the new artist. I understand that you guys want to progress. I want progression for Tejano music as well. Trust me. But that's the musician side of me. You know, I'm open to new music and stuff coming on, but we're dealing still with an old school mentality still in Tejano. That's still a big part of what kind of keeps us down, you know? But don't knock the 90s music. I see that a lot. And I don't think they mean bad by it, but without the 90s music, you wouldn't be here
where you're at today.
Okay?
No.
So just always remember that.
She's talking about me. That's what she's talking about.
I mean, I understand. I get tired of hearing the 90s music. I do. Do you think I want to hear Soy Tu Amor all the time? Or Ganas de Besarte? I'm like, for the love of God, I have 25 other albums here. And you know what?
She walks into my house today, and I'm playing all.
No, you played Devuélveme el Corazón at least. And you were playing my collaborations.
Oh, God.
So thank you. But no, I mean, okay, so we made zero mechanical royalties, which basically tells you, and everybody's like, what does that mean? That means that they're telling us in the 90s or whatever that we didn't sell any records. Okay? At all. Not even one. Which is absurd, right? But this is where the business side comes in. You know, they obviously knew that we weren't really educated in that sense. So let's fast forward to Shell Shock Records 3. That's when I said, after Tejas was, if I had a one regret, that would be it. Signing with them. Absolutely.
They still exist?
No. I mean, well, Chris Leak is still around. He still does music and stuff and has a studio, which is very nice. I've done a couple of things there with him. Well, not with him, but in his studio. I was part of a rap project that we did there. I didn't rap.
Oh. Right away, she makes it clear. I didn't rap.
No way. I know my limits, okay, y'all? No. So I didn't rap. But I started Shell Shock Records 3 with the intent of gaining ownership of my entire catalog again, like everything I've ever recorded, which I do own. Then just hopefully signing artists later. And my goal for Shell Shock is not only in Tejano, but I want to have different parts of Shell Shock. I want to have a division of Christian music. I want to have a division of country. I want to have a division for Tejano.
Hell yeah.
You know, so that's my goal. I didn't plan on doing that till way later, you know, like after school, when I got my feet wet with my next career, whatever I want to have. Because y'all need to understand, I mean, you don't have, why do people feel in their mind that they have to do one thing? Why? You know?
I mean, I think a lot of it, if you go back, that's how Raza is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is. Like we're not a jack. Well, we are a jack of all trades and a master of none when it comes to like doing stuff. But like when it comes to career wise, like
Yeah.
I think it's who we are. That's why.
That's true.
That's
yeah,
kind of
we're
the way
our own
brought
worst
up.
enemy, you know, when it comes to stuff like that. And we're the ones that are going to like kind of come down on ourselves. But I'm not that person, you know. I want to do as much as I possibly can. Stuff that I'm passionate about. That's the main thing. You know, I am passionate about helping people. I am passionate about wanting to go into nursing and doing that part of my life. Absolutely. Because that's a part of me. Once I have that degree, no one can take that from me. And I can do it for however long I want to do it.
Yeah, Shelly,
You know what I'm
just
saying?
40 years of music. Ain't nobody can take that from you.
You know, so that, and then but lately, because I've been mentoring now, I'm doing a lot of producing. Now, I know for a fact that I have never had that amount of respect as a producer. I guess because I'm a girl, for one. Two, I never really had produced other artists other than my own music. But it still doesn't take away the fact that I'm a producer. So, like now I have 5 projects in the works, like at this moment, 5 different artists. And
That's a lot of time in the
yeah,
studio.
it's a lot of time in the studio, but soon enough, people will start to understand what I do.
So you know, earlier you talked about being on the road and how hard, and for the new artists, like be careful what you ask for. The grass ain't green on the other side, right? All these things that you could go to that. You know, Mia's here, right? She's here in the studio. How hard is it, you know, on a personal note, does it take a toll on your personal relationships doing all these projects and, you know, grinding? Because Shelly Lares grinds. It's not like you're not going to do, like you said, you're not going to do half-ass work, right? You're going to do it right. I just know that about you. Does it affect your personal relationship sometimes?
It used to. I used to put my career first before anyone, honestly first. And then I mean, I have been just like everyone watching, I have been in some shitty relationships. I really have, with some not so good people along the way that, liked the fact that I was Shelly Lares and I would get this attention, if you will, but at the same time didn't really want me to, if that makes any sense, right? You know what I'm saying?
Cuando le conviene.
And for anybody that's watching, y'all, if you meet a musician, that's how you met him. Why do you want to take him away from it? I mean, that makes no sense to me. You start dating a musician and you're like, I don't want them gone no more. They're not going to do it no more. So then there they go, getting out of music. I've seen my musical brothers. That happens to a lot of them. A lot. And I'm like, guys, I mean.
Women are powerful.
It's like, I mean, I understand, because sometimes once you start having a family, you start having kids, of course, things change. I get it. But I see that a lot. But with Mia, Mia is unlike anyone I've ever been with, because one, our relationship is so effortless. I know that probably sounds like, yeah, right. That's not possible, but it really is. We have a very effortless relationship. We always really laugh. We're always laughing.
Laughing is for the soul.
We're always
man.
laughing.
People,
We're always. She's crazy as it is, and we're special. We're special together. But she and I we're individuals. She has goals for herself. She's going to be going into real estate. She has her own business. I'm going to go to school. We just actually got our studio space, which came to us, and I'll talk about that. But I have my goals, but then we have couple goals, and so it's all about lifting each other up. When one is down, you pick the other one up. That's
for sure
how it should always be, no matter what. And she's really the only one that's really ever done that for me. I mean, nobody else really ever has. And I've always been a giver, and that's been kind of my downfall a lot of times, because I've never allowed myself to say, hey, I need to reciprocate what I'm.
For sure.
And, I think I posted something like that, don't let someone drink from your cup if they're not helping fill it up, something to that effect. That was one of my motivational Mondays. And it's very true. It's super, super true. But it was difficult to have a relationship and be on the road, especially like early 90s. I was gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays. And then I would take a Tuesday off. We would just wash and repack, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, and I did that for years. I did it for years and years and years. And, now I have other outside things other than the road. I told myself this year I was not going to work every single weekend. I said, I'm not going to work every single weekend. I'm not going to drive myself into the ground. My final year, I want to enjoy it. So I've been very selective with the shows that I do.
Where are you going to play?
Yeah.
Jordan Rodriguez, he just caught my attention here. He said that you just talked to him this week about keeping your, you got to balance your family and your thing. So I say that a lot. You guys hear me preach a lot about Shelly on other shows on how much she mentors the younger generation at Tejano music. But what's crazy is that's a prime example that it's not just music that she mentors them. It's everything.
I'm a life coach to a lot of my Tejano people, and my genre, my peers.
I told you the last time you were here, I think a lot of people can associate with you because you're very personable, but you're very open about who you are.
Yeah.
Like on social media, you don't hide who you are.
No.
You don't hide who you're in love with. Shelly, let's talk a little bit about that. Like how was it that when you decided to get into, a gay relationship, did anybody sit down and talk to you and say, Shelly, are you sure you want to go through with this? No, I'm being real.
No, you're real.
Was there somebody just said, Shelly, I don't know if the Tejanos are ready for this?
Yeah, I think I had a couple of friends that were afraid for me. I talked about this recently. In growing up as a kid, I was always personally what was most important to me was making my parents proud, right?
That's
like I wanted to make my parents proud. Right. I wanted to please my parents. And I'm not saying they always demanded that from me. That was something I put on myself. I put that on myself. And so, you know, as I started growing my 20s and, you know, my best friends, you know, who have been together, they've been together 30 years now. Then, you know, it was a long time then. But, you know, I would go hang out with them, you know, at the bars and stuff, or the gay bar or whatever. And I remember this was like heyday 90s, you know. And I'd be like, people would recognize me. And it was, times were very different then, you know, times were super different then. And I would be like, oh man, you know, I felt like I couldn't just go chill somewhere because I would be judged or whatever. But I never felt like I'm not going to live my life because everybody else won't agree with. I never have felt like that. Never. To this day, I've never felt that way. And so a lot of people ask me, what was your coming out moment? I was like, I never had one. I mean, I really didn't. The only difference was social media started, you know, Facebook and whatnot came about. And I just started sharing my life with fans, you know, and who I was with. It was like just an easy transition for me because I just felt it was just a natural thing to do.
And the reason I bring it up, and the reason that I wanted to bring it up is because, you know, people stand on different sides, you know what I mean? And we're not here to talk about that, but I'm here to say that, you know, you being who you are and being so open, they see that maybe they're going through a tough time. Maybe, you know, they're having a time where like, you know what, I just can't do this because why? You said it earlier, right? I value what my parents are going to think of me. I want to make my parents proud of me. What are my parents, you know, maybe they're not going to agree with me. And some parents will you know, they're okay. Yeah. I think parents nowadays, it's not a normal thing, right? I'm going to say it's just become the norm, but it's part of life. And I always say, like, I am nobody to judge anybody, right? You love who you want to love. And that's how, to me, that's how God intended it to be. You love who you want to love. I mean, that's why you love somebody. But where I'm going with this is I just really think that young people, artists or not, just you being in the limelight and being able to share your life the way you share your life openly and be happy about it.
I've had a lot
It gives people like, you know what? It'll be okay.
Yeah,
like,
I've had a lot of young kids reach out to me a lot on my social media that are afraid to come out to their family. I've walked a lot of them through it. I've talked a lot of them through it. I mean, complete strangers. I've even walked some of my peers through it that are in Tejano. And, you know, I've told them what I think. Ultimately, you have to always, you know, follow your heart. And I think just being a good person, period, with good intentions with people is really what life is. You know, it's humanity. It's about just being good to a person, to each other, to other people. But I had a family recently when I did my concert in Midland. And it was a mom and a dad and a young girl, beautiful young girl. I want to say she was about 14. And the dad got really close to me and he was crying. And I was like, he says, I just want to thank you because our daughter is gay and she felt that because of you, she could tell us. And we just went, and I was like, well, I didn't do anything, you know, really. But to see the dad's emotion, and I said, you know, well, thank you for, you know, loving your daughter anyway, because that's not going to change. You know, at the end of the day, your daughter's your daughter. Your child is your child. And, you know, it's so much easier when you do have the support and love of your parents because, you know, like I did, you know, they're everything. My parents are everything to me. They still are, always will be. But I think my parents just wanted to protect me from that, you know, from whether people were going to lash out at me or whatever. But but I told him, I mean, that this is my life is my journey, you know. I mean,
And everybody has their own journey.
everybody,
Yeah.
my life is my journey, and you know, I mean, I've learned a lot about myself in the last 5 years. I mean, yeah, I'm a 50-year-old woman now. But look at, I mean, you never.
That runs miles.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted, homie. Shelly runs miles. Like if you follow her on social media, she'll never. This is one thing I laugh though. I laugh about it. You never like I've seen where your feet are moving. You're filming your feet moving, but she never displays where she jogs at.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
which is cool.
that's-
You know what I mean? I mean, for your own personal reasons, of course. You know what I mean?
That's my little sanctuary where I go, you know, run. I hadn't been able to run for a year. I had hurt my back, and so I'm just getting back into my running. But that's my therapy. That's my happy place is running. That's where I really refocus, and I pray a lot too when I'm running. And yeah, I don't work. I will not even Mia goes with me. Like I don't, that's my
Amy,
my
but
personal
you have
time.
her, like, you could track where she's at, though, right?
I didn't have a picnic, but I'm not.
No,
she'll
but I'm
picnic, but
saying,
she won't
like,
run.
like, do you, like,
Oh, I know where she.
she know,
Yeah,
okay,
she
cool.
knows where
okay,
I am.
okay, cool.
She knows where I am. Oh yeah, I always let her know. I mean, don't get me wrong though. I still do run with a knife.
What?
I do run with a knife.
That's not a knife.
Yeah.
One of those knives? A big old
I run with a knife. Yeah, we're with the second. I mean, but don't forget, I studied martial arts for 5 years, so I definitely know how to take care of myself.
You see?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Don't come running up on Shelly. You're gonna get a
don't scare me.
You're gonna get a karate chop to the
Any of
throat.
y'all, no, that's a true story. Don't jump out at me because I will knock you.
Mia, has that
out.
happened to you? Have you scared her?
She knows not to scare me. She knows not to. I swear to you, because it's my second nature. So I will react. I will punch you in the throat. Or,
So we are going to Milwaukee. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try to get this. I'm gonna try to get this.
He's gonna get
I'm gonna
knocked
get. I'm gonna get a throat chop.
You go-
Get that website too.
yeah, I'm from the west side too. So,
Jam
yeah.
and J Javi says.
Hey,
Jam and J Javi's watching. He said, "Bumper and Shelly just bullshit on Hump Day." Jordan Rodriguez said, "Amazing. I believe talking on these things can even help save a life. Thank you, Shelly. Even Cristello, the night he talked about it. Sometimes they need people like y'all to bring these things to light and to make them feel better."
Yeah.
For sure, man.
Awesome. Cristello and I, yeah, he's talked to me about it, and just, you know, him more from the music end, you know, but I mean, I guess I am
It
still
didn't
someone
slow
that
you
can
down.
really, yeah, they can really relate to. No, it really didn't.
No,
I mean, I had a handful of people, and I still have a handful of people that are negative on my social media, but I mean, of course I banned them right away, but I mean, it wasn't really what I didn't really have anybody tell me anything, to be honest, you know. It's just because that
Because
still
she's
doesn't-
Shelly
it still
freaking
doesn't take
Lares.
away. It still doesn't take away from what I've done for this industry. You know, how I've contributed in my own way. But one thing fans have to understand is just because we're artists and we're in the public eye doesn't mean that we're obligated to share or explain our personal life. Music is what we do and who we are, yes. But, you know, we don't have to. You know, even when I retired,
That's a good
you
way.
know,
That's a
I
good way
mean,
to put
even
it.
even when I retired, I didn't have to tell people I'm retiring. I'm not asking for people's permission to,
We'd
to
be
live.
heard.
You know, I
We'd
mean,
be heard.
But that's why I did it, because I want people to know and understand my appreciation. But I'm never looking for permission to live. I don't need anybody's permission for that. God gave me life for a reason, and that's it. But I don't look for people to be on my social media to stroke my ego, for me to ask them, is it okay? You know, or I love me, is that a ride? I don't think so. That's not how I am. I do what I want. I have my own brain. God created us to have our own brain, and, you know, live life
that's what you do.
the way we're supposed to, you know. And
No,
like I said,
I think
helping
it's I
people.
think it's cool, man. You know what I mean? Like you saying, like you got you. The reason I asked you, you know, about your personal relationship, because you work a lot. Like I see you, I see you grinding
Yeah.
all the time, and you know sometimes that can take an effect on
And
a
my baby,
personal
and you know,
relationship.
one thing that I'm thankful for is my baby. She gets me, and I know that sounds weird. You know, you hear that kind of cliche,
Right.
right? But she really does. Like she'll know, like when I'm just chill, like you know, just at home, whatever, watching TV. But then she knows when I'm at home, it looks like I'm watching TV, but I'm not, and I'm creating or I'm working. She knows.
Like don't
she'll
ask her
know,
nothing. She's in
you
her
know?
she's in her zone.
I get in a little
Yeah,
zone.
for sure.
And she's the same way. Don't get me wrong. She's the same exact way. So, but I think it's just, you know, finding that person that.
So you're gonna do your thing. You're gonna do the real estate thing, right? Well, speaking of real estate, man, if you guys right now are looking to buy a home, you gotta hit up my boy, Mr. Ricky Ray from La 45. He's a bad dude on the
Hey,
sax,
Ricky.
man. 956-424-5724. Whatever. If you're looking to lease to own, rent to
Ricky,
own.
you better watch out. My girlfriend's coming.
There you go. So hit up Ricky Ray, man, 956-424-5724. And then tonight, of course, if you guys don't know, we started something here about 3 weeks ago. This is going to be the 4th week. We do Tejano Wednesdays after Wacky Wednesday, of course, at Mustang Sally's on the southeast side, Roosevelt and Military.
Hey, they did fix that place up nice, huh?
Dude, it is super.
Yeah,
If
we
you
haven't
haven't been
been.
there, it is super nice. So last week we had Rudy. We invited Rudy. Rudy showed up. Rudy Lopez. We had Ernie Salgado in there. The week before we had Ram Herrera in there. So you just don't know who's going to show up. Artists show up all the time.
Awesome.
It's a cool place and
Well,
it's
I'm not
redone on the
showing up
inside.
tonight, guys, because I got a 6 a.m. flight.
Because she has to go pack.
Yeah, I got to go pack.
So again, Mustang Sally's. You can catch me and Chismosa. We'll both be out there tonight. It's gonna be a good time, man. So make sure.
Awesome.
And then
Whoop.
let's
whoop,
talk
whoop.
about this right here. This weekend, the fun begins. It's my first time. Shelly's what?
Oh, I don't even
you don't
know.
even want
I
to
lost
count.
count.
The Mexican Fiesta for all our friends in the Midwest, Ohio, Michigan, Illinois. Milwaukee, Wisconsin is a place to be this weekend. Probably one of the largest, if not the largest,
It is.
Latin festival
Absolutely.
in all of the United States. The Mexican Fiesta will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I will be there. I will get to host some of the stages, and Shelly Lares will be there. Not only will she be there, right? She is bringing some talent
You know it.
that she
Down
has
there, bottom
mentored,
corner,
man.
bottom corner left.
You know, she mentored a lot of these,
All
all
the way
these
down,
girls,
go all the
right?
way down, go all the way down.
Where's it at?
On the
So
bottom
there it
corner
is, right
left.
there. There it is. I couldn't
Ándale,
find
ahí
it.
está.
So Friday night, El Rey stage in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You will find.
They're gonna rename it to La Reina stage.
Yeah, there you go. So y'all better be ready, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, man. The girls are coming. The girls run the world.
You know it.
I'm super excited to see this show. And for the people watching right now, like they put in a lot of work. This is, please do not think that these people just show up to a stage and here's a mic, here's a mic, here's a mic,
no,
and let's do
no.
this. It takes a lot of work. She was sitting here telling me.
Not if my name has anything to do with it. That's for sure. It's gonna be. You know, we want things to run smoothly. So yeah, I'm very excited that I'm going to
Minnesota.
be hosting the showcase. My band is going to be backing up all 4 girls: Crystal Torres, Sonia de la Paz, Monica Saldivar, Demi Garcia. 4 of our brightest women stars in Tejano music right now. And I'm just excited for the fans to hear them and for the girls to experience the Mexican Fiesta and for you to experience the Mexican
I'm
Fiesta.
I'm ready to check it out, dude. Like I'm literally I've been since Vanessa's reached out to me many months ago.
Thank you, Vanessa. She's been with her and Fella and Art. They've all
Yeah,
been
dude,
working
they've
hard.
been busting their like
Yeah.
right now I know
I've been on the phone with Vanessa at least twice or 3 times just
her
today.
head's probably spinning 100 miles an hour,
I've
man.
already talked to the sound crew today. I had a discussion with the sound crew. It's like, yeah.
Minnesota, I
again,
didn't forget about you. They got
Yeah.
mad at me.
Who's
You got
that?
Minnesota. Minnesota will be out there too. Minnesota will be out there too.
I love Minnesota.
Indiana will be.
Indiana.
Oh man.
No, you have to get them all. You got to include everybody. There's a lot there.
But Shelly, so the fact that you're taking these girls out there and you know, you're sharing your time, your stage time. That's the way I see it. Like you're opening some of your, what would be all Shelly.
Well, yeah,
right?
because I mean, technically, it's still my last performance for my band, for me and my band. You know.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm
that
trying
would
to
have
say.
been,
Like,
yeah, you would have thought that would have been my main focus, but again, you know, I mean, this is an opportunity. And when I talked to all four girls, you know, when all of this came to be, I wanted them to understand that this is a prestigious event. This has been around for many, many years. And I want them to really, because I believe in all the girls 100%. Hello, you know.
right.
You know, I produced Crystal Torres. I mean, I had the girls on my record. Obviously, I believe in their talents.
Crystal
But,
Torres, right? As you said?
I produced Crystal Torres. I produced a couple of songs for her. And then, of course, Sonia, Monica, and Demi were on my Nada de Ti.
Or you were in the lowrider.
So, yeah, we were in the lowrider.
Hey, all I could
That
think of
was
was
one of my favorite collabs, too.
But all I could think of was what's the movie where the girls rob banks?
What's it called, Ava? The one with Queen Latifah and...
Where they rob banks. Set it off.
Set It Off.
When I see y'all run, like, oh, gee, I set it off.
Well, you saw the end of the video, right? What we did with the body.
Oh,
So yeah.
man.
Well,
Bumper
you don't know if that's what we did with the body. You never saw the body. So you don't know. You don't know if we ran him over or, you know, we were pulling out our luggage or
We got a
we were
message.
fixing a flat. You don't know.
We got a message from Vanessa. She's like, Bumper, just to think about watching Shelly's final Mexican Fiesta performance brings tears to my eyes.
She was a baby when I went. Ask
she's
her how old
she's
she
definitely
was.
a major icon in our genre, and there'll be major void without her. Love Queen Shelly. Mexican Fiesta is ready for you.
Ah, thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Mija. I appreciate that. Yeah, and then, you know, of course, my band and I, Saturday night, we're closing out one of the stages on Saturday night. So it's going to be great. You know, the girls are still going to be there.
So they're doing Saturday. They're going to perform.
We're doing Friday night with the girls on El Rey stage. And then Saturday night on the Generac stage. I'm closing it out Saturday night on that stage.
No girls, though. Just
No
you.
girls, just me. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
they're going to be there. I mean, they're going to be hanging out, I think. I know they're excited to see some of the big, as I, Lila Downs and, you know.
hey, you know, I don't want
Jesse and
to. I don't want
Joy.
to tell people to say who I'm excited to see because they're gonna be like Bumper Neta,
Who?
Jerry Rivera.
Oh, well, yeah. He's the one that's actually closing the night after the girls. We're on that stage. He's going to be on that stage with the girls and I. He's going to be on that stage.
Well, I'll be back there too, so hopefully
yeah,
I can.
you're gonna. If we hear somebody, "Ah, Jerry!" that's gonna be Bumper screaming like a little girl back there, 12-year-old little girl.
Oh man! So I want to throw this out there. So Shelly, have you put thought into what is going to be the final walking up some steps to a stage? You're very.
I know what show it is. It's in Dallas. December 19th at the New West. And everybody's like, why at the New West? Well, the New West and I go way back 28 years. I've been performing at that club.
So you already have it. That's going to be
my
it.
last show.
The Red Sticks will make their final appearance.
I decided because I did have some offers for New Year's Eve. But I told Mia, I was like, you know what?
You're going into another year.
I don't want to. So, like I was talking about, I hadn't planned on producing or getting my studio space because that had been a dream of mine for a long time, was to get my own studio. But again, mind you guys, on the road, I was committed 150% to my career. My time and everything, my energy, my money, everything went back into me. So now that I'm going to be off the road, now it makes more sense that I can have time to produce other artists, then later on sign artists. That's the goal, right? So I told her, it was weird. God is so great. God started sending me all these artists and producing opportunities. And then we had kind of been talking about a studio space. And then there it is. It's so crazy. And me and I had been talking. We're like, we need to change our mentality. We need to change our vocabulary. So when we say things, we're like, when we do it, or We are doing it.
Speaking it into
We're
existence.
speaking it into existence. And it's funny because she was talking about getting an area that had a lot of property so that we could put a stage in the back, she said. So if you have events at the studio, and I was like, okay, well, sure. Well, damn it, Bumper, we get to this place and there's a freaking stage in the back.
Net for real?
For real. For real. For real.
Dude, definitely. Okay.
I was like, oh
okay,
my God.
so since we're on here, we'll just start talking business, right? Look, Bumper eventually wants, like, people ask me, what do you want to do with the show? I don't think I've ever said it before, and I'm gonna say it right now because you're here.
Yeah.
What I would want for Wacky Wednesday was to eventually become the Johnny Canales show of now.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
should.
like take it
Absolutely.
and have people actual play, not the
yeah.
like play, but you can't do it in here, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But bands come and they want to play, like they, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If nobody knows who they are, or they just, hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or the
You need to
existing
start
bands.
looking at some property.
So-
I didn't tell you I'm going into commercial.
She's
now.
doing commercial. She's not doing real estate yet. Yeah,
no,
she-
well, you're just telling me you got a stage in the back. I could just
Yeah.
set up my
well, I don't know about that.
Oh man!
But anyway, and then she starts like, well, with the new artists that you're mentoring, you can take them on that stage and you teach them how to interact on stage. I'm like, well, that's true, you know. But it was just weird. So now, you know, we're ordering the equipment to get the studio up and running very soon, God willing. But it's perfect. It's everything that we wanted, and
It's gonna be your sanctuary.
yeah,
and
so
going there.
I mean, it's the official home of Shell Shock Records 3 now, you know, and LMD Productions and
What part of
Lady
town?
Leo's Looks. What side would you say? Southeast? No, not southeast.
It's central.
Yeah,
downtown.
it's actually more central. It's actually more central.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a studio I've been to back there that's down there. Is it Blue Cat?
Oh, Blue Cat is, yeah, that's kind of by Southtown a little bit.
Like
Southtown,
it's right there in that area. Yeah,
A little
yeah.
by Southtown, yeah. I've
Never did I think what was behind there was back there.
Well,
like,
you know what? I took my aunts to see the studio the other day, and I took them on a little tour because kind of a little further down in the area is where Manny's first studio was, called the Shack. I don't know. Now it's like an apartment, but it still looks exactly the same outside. And people would not even imagine
the people walked
the
in
people that walked into that shack. I mean, I wish they would like close it and make it like part
there.
of Tejano history.
Put one of those metal
Yes.
Texas placards up front.
Okay, so if
Historical site.
I'm not trying to give away where these people live. I'm so sorry. But if you go to the Blue Moon Cafe on South Flores, it's directly across the street. And that's where it all happened for me, where I recorded my very first record at 10 years old. I recorded about 3 albums with Manny there till we moved to Pleasanton, which is where Ernie Gonzalez has his studio now. But that was Manny's, he built that from the ground up. Well, no, actually he found it there. But that one is where all of the major 90s hits came out of there. I mean, everybody recorded there, all of his roster. And I think Selena did Amor Prohibido album there as well. And
In that shack.
no, in the second studio.
Oh, the
that's
south. Okay, I
further
got you. I
down.
got you.
So, you know, I have a lot of plans. So that's one of the good things that we're looking forward to for Shell Shock. Right now, I'm super excited because I just produced a song for Annika called Si Mañana No Me Ves. On the first 2 weeks, she broke in the top 20 for the Tejano Gold Countdown. Now she moved it to number 12, I think, number 12, which was like a month that I released her, and she broke
So are you
in.
signing artists already?
I haven't signed. It's gonna take.
Jordan Rodriguez already. Sign me up. Sign me up.
I mean, and the funny thing is right now, Annika, you know, she's such a, oh my God, she's such a good singer. She's so amazing. She's an amazing vocalist. This girl, I met her when she was about 17, I think. And she was a finalist in the Finding the Next Diva Tejana with me and Stephanie Montiel. And when I met this young girl, she's from Elsa, you know, from the Valley. She was very, very timid and insecure. She was very insecure about her weight, and she just was a different girl. And then, 2018, she posted a video of her singing Si Mañana No Me Ves a cappella. And I just heard, Sé que nada pasará. And like the way she sang it, I was like, what the hell? And I reached out to her and I'm like, Annika, God, this song. I'm like, let me record this song, please. I want to record this song for you. And she's like, okay. And 2019 came. I was super busy. 2018, 2019, 2020 was going to be busy, and then COVID
She's
hit.
still waiting, pobrecita.
And she was waiting, but I would still reach out to her in God's time. In God's time, when it's time for you and I to work together, we're going to work together. This year, I reached out. It's time. Let's do the song. And so right now, I'm working on her EP, but it's not Tejano. Her EP is more mariachi, international R&B, because that's what she does best.
Yeah.
So I'm working with Alicia C right now, producing her EP. I'm preparing. We haven't really officially announced it on TikTok, but Miriam, who's very popular on TikTok from the Oregon area, I'm working on her EP. So, and I have a couple of other artists that I have in the works, and I'm super excited because everything is still being prepared and written, but I'm composing music on a daily basis.
Still waiting for a male name.
I'm not going to tell you the guy I'm working with. He's my best kept secret right now.
Well,
But I guarantee you, he's not going to beat Tejano per se, but I am going to bring him in here to get a taste of Tejano music. And he's badass.
He's good.
He is very good.
I see you right there.
Oh my God, he just
pausing a little bit, so he's got to be really good.
Well, I had been talking about a guy. I'm like, I need a dude. I'm like, there's no dudes. What's happening to the guys out there, And
they're nervous because of Shelly Lares.
Another one that I'm producing right now is Maria Paula, 10-year-old little Maria Paula from Tucson, Arizona.
Was she the little girl that was singing at
in Vegas?
Yeah, at the Vegas.
Yeah. So I have a lot, going on right now as far as music, and a lot of people don't understand. But I mean, I am composing so many different genres. From, of course, we did Tejano, we did the little romantic ballad. I mean, the romantic cumbia with Annika. I'm arranging anything from mariachi, international, reggaeton, country, bachata.
Damn, son.
Even like more Mexican corrido. Yeah, I mean, I'm arranging it all. I'm arranging it all right now.
Y'all better be ready.
And it's all coming out. It's like, and so I'm working on that. And I'm just excited because Arti Herena and I had been talking about, he and I writing some stuff, country music together.
He was here not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I had never met him. He's a cool dude.
Oh, he's an amazing guy.
Really cool guy.
He's super chill.
His vocals are they're
Art is
amazing.
amazing.
Dude. Yeah.
Art is amazing.
Country and Tejano.
Art is amazing. And, he and I talked about, I was like, okay, so what do you want to do? And he's like, well, I want to, dab into some, because he and I are very traditional country. We both love our traditional country. And so he was like, I want to do a little bit of Texas country. And I'm like, I don't know. In my mind, I'm thinking that technical. I'm like, well, I've never really written Texas country music. So I started arranging. I arranged like 4 or 5 songs. And the way that I'm working right now is I'm composing the music in its entirety. No melody, no lyrics. Just the music in its entirety. The whole arrangement is there.
I think you wrote something that's something you've never approached.
I had never done that before.
You never approached a song like that before.
Never.
I remember you posted that.
Yeah, never. So I composed these songs and I sent them to my good friend Chismosa in Lubbock because she runs the Texas country station there. I sent it to another couple of friends that do Texas country. And I'm like, listen to this and tell me if it's Texas country. And they're like, abso-freaking-lutely. Oh my God, who's going to record these songs? And I sent them to Art and he liked them. So he and I still have to get together and finish composing them. So I'm excited about that. Crystal Torres too.
Shelly, there's a lot of Chicanitos out there doing Texas country.
Oh, there's a lot of great.
There is a lot.
I have a girl, Ariel Hutchins. Shout out to my friend Ariel Hutchins over in West Texas. She's an amazing country artist. amazing. White as can be, Ariel. She's hit girl. And when I met her, she was like, "Oh, I want to sing in Spanish. I want to do something in Spanish." She told me. And I was like, "Oh, Ariel, you mean like you want to sing country in Spanish?" "No, I want to do some Latino. I want to do something Latino." And I'm like, "Oh shit." I'm like, "Ariel, you understand? You got a bit of an accent, right? Do you understand this, right?"
Oh my goodness,
And she's like, I know. So wait till you hear what I wrote for her, because I had to think.
Well, you got everybody excited now. Now we're going to be looking for all these people.
I mean, yes, please look out for them. And oh my gosh, there is so much talent on TikTok alone. I mean, on TikTok alone.
Social media has brought out so many people left and right. And you know what? But people ask like, "Man, I wish I had social media back then." You know what? No, because it.
Oh no, it has its pros and cons.
For sure.
It really does, y'all. It really does. You know, there's good and bad about it. There really is. Oh, so you know what? Let's rewind way back to when I was talking about 90s music.
Yeah, you were saying
this is the one thing.
Don't knock the 90s music.
This is the one thing about Tejano music. Yes, it's unheard of to still manufacture CDs. However, our Tejano fans still want them.
They collect them.
And I'll be honest with you, I make more money when I manufacture them CDs than I do on a digital download.
For real?
Hell yeah.
Man.
You know, so, I mean, you got to go with what works for you, right? Whatever works for you, because maybe one's formula is not the other one's formula. I know what works for me. And I know when there's certain things that I got to work on at certain times, whether it be manufacturing CDs, whether it's, you know, investing in merchandise, whether it's saving up for recording, you know, and all of that.
You have all that down.
You know, it's my own formula, and I it took me years to figure out what it is. But I mean, I've been so blessed, man. I have worked with some amazing freaking musicians in my industry.
With that said, Shelly, all day I wanted to ask you this question, right? Because it's Wacky Wednesday, right? We go all over the place, right? This picture's been floating around probably for about 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
And for me, as a fan of Tejano music, as a true fan of our love music, our cultura, everything, this picture for me is so freaking powerful.
It is.
Right? Because there's 3 young ladies right there.
Yeah.
That in a sense, honestly, really didn't realize that you were carrying so much stuff on your back. At that point in time right there, that picture, you were just being who you were, having fun. You know, you weren't living like, man, I got to do this because of this or that. You were just doing it because of the love of music. So if you guys don't know who that is, that's Selena, Laura Canales, and Little Miss Dynamite.
Yeah.
All in one picture right there. Like, it doesn't get any stronger when it comes to Tejano music and female artists in this picture.
And I didn't have that picture. I have to thank Crystal Torres sent it to me because Beto had posted it. And I remembered where we were, like, right away. I was we were at the Tejano Music Awards rehearsal. That's where we were. And she's like, yeah, that's right. Because I guess she saw Beto's complete post, and he did post that, you know, it was for the Tejano Music Awards. But that year, I mean, I remember every year. I do. And anytime an award show would come about, you know, we would have rehearsals or run through a show. You know, Selena and I would always hang out and just, you know, fart around, just have fun, whatever. And of course, you know, we ran into Laura. And I mean, we both had an amazing amount of respect for Laura because, again, she was the true pioneer. I mean, really.
She's a godmother. She's a queen.
I mean,
honestly, I know.
You know, we had Lydia Mendoza. Of course, Lydia Mendoza was, you know, very powerful in Mexican music, but Tejano per se, like straight up Tejano music, Laura was it. Laura was the main mera girl. And I remember, man, 10 years old, the awards used to be held at the La Vita sometimes. The nominees dance.
Yeah.
And back then they would give an award for every finalist. And I remember just standing. There was a little staircase that they would put on the side of the stage where the artists would come up and down. And there I was standing on the side of the staircase with my chin on the rail, watching every artist go up and get their nominee award. And Laura Canales, every time she would pass me, she would pat me on the head. You know, I mean, I was 10 years old, you know, and I'm sorry, I forgot one of the main ones, Lisa Lopez. Lisa Lopez was another one that was in the industry when I started. And yeah, I remember that. I even have a picture of me, Lisa Lopez, and Laura Canales somewhere, and they stood me on a chair so that I could be the same height as them. Yeah, but those were the days, man. I mean, you're right. I mean, it's such innocence then. You know, we had no idea the magnitude of what was to come, you know, in the life of Tejano music. Because then it was probably like 1989, 1990 maybe. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how old I was, but Selena and I were about 17 years old in that picture.
Y'all the same age, right?
She was only 7 months older than me. Yeah. So we're pretty much the same age. But yeah, we never knew the magnitude of what was to come. And then, of course, you know, Laura, she got off the road and, you know, was going back to school. Then Selena, of course, you know, took on her career just exploded. And then, of course, her untimely death. And, you know, we just never realized that. But those were such good times. They were such good times because they were just...
You were 17, dude, living your best life.
We were living our best life. Yeah.
I mean, what could
and
be,
I remember...
you could go eat pizza when you wanted to. You could do whatever the hell. Who was going to tell you no?
We were excited that day because Selena was incorporating her dancers, that performance, that award show. She was incorporating her dancers. And, man, we were excited for that. They were in the hallway practicing. And, yeah, I remember it like yesterday. It's crazy. But, you know, now... You know, the Tejano Awards are coming around in November. We're super excited again.
It's coming to a nice venue.
Oh, yeah. Techport, yeah.
We talked about, you know, I talked about this a couple of shows back. Like, my goal, not my goal, right? It's like my goal.
Hey,
but
you can have a goal.
No. What I want to do is I really want to bring the pageantry back to the Tejano Music Awards, where... like a ball or like just something.
Oh, I know
just
what you mean. Yeah,
extravagant.
because it used to be very like real high, you know.
Yeah, so it was like the Oscars, something people would get dressed up, rent limos, like the whole thing. And now it's kind of like, oh, everybody just kind of shows up. But I think if that place that they're having at, what is it called? The
Techport.
The Techport. That place is amazing.
Well, they're. I mean, in speaking, you know, and speaking with them, they're really working hard to get it back, you know, not really back, but to take it where it's never been, right? We want to take it somewhere else. So it's going to take a lot, you know, of planning, a lot of money and time and energy, and really communicating well, because we've really lost. It's gotten so muddy. It's gotten so muddy throughout the years, and you know, it's not a secret that, you know, TTMA have pissed off a lot of people, and you know, a lot of people walked away from them. And, you know, so right now it's a lot of mending fences, building new relationships. And, you know, when I reached out and asked them, you know, hey, can we make it, you know, is it possible to bring in some new talent, you know, to the awards, to give them this platform again, you know? So they're like, yeah, well, what do you suggest? I'm like, at least some sort of little showcase of artists to perform in one segment. I'm not asking for three different
up-and-coming artists.
I didn't ask for 3 separate segments for them. I asked for one segment for them. So, of course, Maria Paula, who I wanted to really introduce to the Tejano industry, because, you know, she's 10 years old. Her social media alone reaches millions. I mean, that's all you see are her videos on TikTok everywhere. Of course, I invited Carla Cristina and Gabriela Martinez are the artists that are going to be performing for the showcase. So, you know, they're trying to get it right. They're trying to get it right. So
I mean, I gotta get a suit, dude. Like, I don't know if I wear
Yeah.
a tux yet, but I'm definitely gonna get another suit.
yeah.
I'm gonna be there, and
And I mean, I just want the artists to understand too, guys, I mean, who doesn't want to be included? Okay. But there's dues to be paid to get there. You just because you have a one single, honey, doesn't mean I deserve female vocalist or
she
male
said that.
vocalist.
for everybody, she said that, not me. She said that.
It's true. It's true. You gotta work to get there. Do you think? Let me give you an example on my timeline. I was first nominated for the Tejano Music Awards at age 11. I had already been performing for a year. I had some records are out already. We were nominated for show band of the year, stuff like that, vocalist, and then I was nominated. Okay, starting in 1989, I was the finalist. They used to have 3 at the time. I was a finalist for female vocalist, female entertainer. From 1989, every consecutive year, I did not win until 1998. 1989 to 1998.
9 years, man.
I waited for my time. You see what I'm trying to say? And so this is where I love the other award shows, and I show support for everybody. I really do. I show support.
That you do.
I do show support, whether it's big or small. But they hear from me. They do. They hear from me when I feel like, oh man, we're not getting it right. We got to work on this. And they ask me. The Premios Tejano Mundial. I met with Frank that following Monday. We met. And we're like, okay, look. And I'm not doing it for ulterior motives. I'm doing it for the betterment of the industry and for what I see as a fan, what I see as an artist. Because everybody is going to bitch and moan about it, but not everybody is going to try to find a solution.
Correct.
They want it to come their way, but they don't want to contribute to making it better. And that's where we go wrong. That's where we big time go wrong. So where we shoot ourselves in the foot every single time. So lines of communication is open. And, some people go without winning. It's like a Super Bowl. A person will play NFL for years and years and they'll never win a championship.
Like the Jets, kind of like the Jets.
Hey, my Jets are going to win. 1960 something is going to come back around. 1960 something is coming back. So, I that's just one of the things that I feel, but don't write them off just yet. I mean, changes are coming, and you see them posting the qualifications, and that was another thing I had a discussion with. I'm like, they're a little confusing. Let's kind of try to simplify the qualifications just a little bit, because they do,
You're talking for the TTMA?
Yeah,
For the
they
awards,
do kind of like contradict themselves a little bit, but some people don't read either. Okay?
That's a fact. Like,
some people don't read.
I've had this conversation with Bino many times. Like, if you're an artist who does everything that you're supposed to do, you fill out everything and you don't get nominated, or you don't, then you have a leg to stand on. You have a leg to bitch about something, right?
Right.
I've been doing this 7 years and I've done the paperwork. I never get on the ballot, whatever. But if you're one of those guys saying, man, I never make it. Hey, did you fill out your stuff?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
But I think like I said, I think it's coming. It's going to come along, and we just have to try to contribute to making it better. And just everyone has to just kind of really shift up the standards. Not kind of, but like a lot. Whether it's recording, whether it's your
not kind
artistry,
of, but a lot.
Your artistry. Because there's so many elements that go into being an artist. It's a lot of things.
But Shelly, you'd be surprised on how many people agree with you that have been in the grind for a long time. Like, a lot of the producers, right, when they hear music, a lot of them be like, man, they made that in the garage.
Yeah.
Right. Like I had Johnny Ramirez here before, and Johnny's really big on like, hey, if you're gonna give me something,
Yeah, it's got to be good.
it's got to be good, right?
And I mean, I've heard, but
there's
we've heard good stuff.
There's
that hasn't
good
gotten
stuff.
played.
A Frito Pie Friday finds this music all the time. There's good stuff floating around, made in a bathroom somewhere. I don't know, but
You can if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, the acoustics are great. Whatever. It sounds great, but at the end of the day, it goes back to what you said, right? Like you can't just have a single, get on the number 18 on the chart and never move anything and just think you've made it. Like you got to keep going.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You got to keep going.
It's a
and
lot.
you're a prime example of somebody who for 40 plus years has grinded. You know, your family, and I really want people to listen to this part. You know, if you didn't watch it in the beginning of the show, but her family gave up what they knew to make a living off of. They gave it up all to follow your dreams, right? And they made it their dreams.
Yeah.
Your dreams became your parents'
yeah.
dreams, and they put everything to the side
Yeah.
to back you up. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of parents wouldn't do that,
Yeah.
especially
I'm
if that's
sure.
what brings food to the table,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But in your case, it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. And I mean, it really was, you know, Mom said it the other day. She's like, it really helped us that Dad was a businessman, you know? So he knew how to maneuver his way into figuring things out. And Daddy, you know, his tenacity and his grit, you know, is something to admire because, you know, you have to be this way when you're fighting for something and, or you believe in something so much. And he, you know, he did that. Dad, he never quit. He's like, you know, he knew my value. He knew my value but we did it in a way where, like I said, we didn't come into the game like demanding everything. You know, we had to gain this, we had to earn this respect.
Right.
We had to earn I had to earn my spot in Tejano music. And I think once that happened, it was kind of a little easier, but I started to really, man, I mean, I've learned so much. I learned so much on the road. I've learned so much about myself. It's made me into this, inside, yes, I'm a very passionate woman, but my shell is very strong. Like, you know, I can take the punches and they roll right off my back. It's like
Shell shock.
Yeah, it's like I can take it. You know, it's like nothing surprises me in this industry. Nothing, you know, nothing. I've seen it all. I've seen it happen. You know, so when I have a new artist tell me, "Can you believe that?" I'm like, "Yeah." I can believe it. Hello. And it's
Call
so funny.
so-and-so. It happened
it's so
to them.
funny when they call me and they tell me, "Well, this happened." I'm like, "Yeah, because that's what's supposed to happen. That's how it is." But you know, I'm going to continue to be here and be a voice for my industry. And maybe people don't think that what I've done for 40 years has been a whole lot, but you know, as far as accolades are concerned. But, you know, I really have learned a lot about myself and made a legacy for me and built my own lane. And that's kind of what I've stuck to. But I came in loving Tejano music. I came in as a Tejano artist, and I'm leaving as a Tejano artist. I never strayed for who I am. I never wanted to go somewhere else because I felt like that's just where it was going to be better, because in my heart, that's not where my heart was. You know, my heart is Tejano music. So that's why I've been willing to take the good with the bad.
I've summed you up in a show before.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
And it's very simple. You've heard it your whole life probably. Shelly Lares came into this industry and you're leaving it better than the way you found it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Right. You took something, you ran with it for 40 years through the ugly, through the good, the bad, the ugly, you know. At the end of the day, you're leaving our industry better than the way you found it.
But thank you.
Right. I think because your mentorship to so many people look up to you for the mentorship part. It is I don't think to the people watching, you really do not understand the effect this little woman does for the industry as a whole. We've talked about, the artists that she mentors, the female artists, male artists. I mean, you can go to the chat. If you watch this later on, maybe you watch this a couple of days from now, go to the chat. You'll see the people telling you, artists, well-named artists, that she has taken time to help them with their personal life, with their musical career, whatever it is. She's been through it. She knows what it's like to be a musician. And that's what makes you special, Shelly.
Thank you.
Like, if anything, that's really what separates you from a lot of people. You're that artist that I preach about on Bumpers Wacky Wednesday, of like, why aren't artists reaching out their hands down and said, hey man, I was one to you, get up here.
Yeah.
Right? But just because I bring you up here doesn't mean you can have the big plate.
Yeah.
You might have to eat off this
Yeah.
the
You're right.
small plate.
You're right.
Right? I've earned this big plate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay? I'm gonna give you a little piece here.
Yeah.
If you like the way it tastes and you want to get a big plate like this is what
Yeah.
you got to do.
Right.
But I just don't think that there is enough Shelly Lares, and I've said it, I mean, multiple times on many different shows. If we had more Shelly Lares in this industry, our industry would be, and again, I'm not saying this because you're here, people can go back word for word. If we had more Shelly Lares in the industry, our industry would be way better off than where it is right now.
Well, thank you. I'm going to continue to do my best on the sidelines. I'm still going to be here. I have a show coming out on the TEJANO 360 network still that I'm going to be doing, that I'll be hosting with new artists and veteran veteran artists, because we do want to have these discussions.
Yeah.
Whatever they may be, I'm going to let them, pretty much choose the topic of what they, want to discuss or ask. And, but I just hope that the fans out there, we still hear a lot of times, TEJANO music's not this, or it's not anything. And, we have to remember that our genre is a beautiful genre. I mean, if you really, really listen to TEJANO music, and if you're, on my TikTok or wherever, you've never really taken the time to listen. I mean, go back and listen to the different styles, because like I said, it's so intricate, it's beautiful, and yet it's so diverse. It's
sure.
It's insane.
How
For you,
diverse
like,
it
I mean,
is.
yeah, it's insane. And I've said this before, it's our blessing and our curse, because in that of a corporate America world, you can't be a lot of things. That can be your downfall. But look at I'm wearing Dolly Parton. This is one of the women that I look up to, because I think Dolly Parton is a freaking amazing businesswoman.
Masota linda de mi vida.
But I looked up to artists like, of course, one of my major artists just passed, Olivia Newton-John. That was like, Olivia was everything. Like, I still have all her albums. And Linda Ronstadt. And those are women that were more than just one genre. Olivia was country, but pop.
At the same time.
And
yeah.
then Linda, same thing. She was, little rock. She threw in some little country stuff. Then she went and recorded a mariachi album, and it was the biggest album.
You
see what I'm saying? I'm like, who and why do people say that? That, to me, that's one of the things that I instill into the new generation of artists. Don't let people put those mental blocks in your mind. I don't care who it is. Let me give you an example. When I was producing Annika for Si Mañana No Me Ves, she sings on the lower register beautifully. And you would think that, in her mind, she's like, yeah, I sing mariachi, but I sing mariachi when it's time to sing mariachi, right? Like, I'll sing full out when it's mariachi. So when she sang this song, she was like, okay, on the chorus, she was like real softly, like real pretty. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, sing it. Ba-da-da-da. I'm like, those notes, that's a dynamic part of the song. You're giving it to them. That's what I want you to do. And she had told me in one time, she's like, yeah, but someone told me I didn't sound good in that register. I'm like, well, I don't know who's telling you that, but they don't know what they're talking about.
And they ain't here.
You know? And I'm like, so you see what I'm saying? That's what pisses me off, you know, and not in just this situation, but in other situations where I see certain people tainting the new artist mentality in different ways. And if it's someone that I'm mentoring and I see it happen, I tell them, look, don't believe that. That's not true. Okay? Okay. But I think we really need to embrace them a little bit more, guide them a little bit more. And like I said, I mean, be open-minded to the new generation of music. Music evolves constantly. I mean, if I'd have done orquesta my whole career, like I did with Hot Tamales, I wouldn't have the Devuelven el Corazón. I wouldn't have had the Soy Tu Amores, the Ganas de Besartes. I wouldn't have had those if the music didn't evolve into that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Then I wouldn't have evolved into be able to do songs like Sal Si Puedes, which is that of a Latin big band
That's a
song.
1950 song. You said, right?
1937.
Oh, shit, even older.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So music evolves constantly.
And I think you know, that's something that we say all the time when I'm trying to preach to the older Tejano fans that love the 90s.
Classics
right?
are classics when it always be
And
classics.
but what I try to preach is like, don't just keep yourself in that.
Yeah,
Like be open-minded.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Be open-minded. So, you know, that's where I want our music to go.
Yeah, me
You know,
too.
and I
Me
think
too.
you being Shell Shock Records, I think you're going to give us a lot of that, and we better be ready for it. We better be ready for it.
Well,
So,
you know, Mia makes me laugh because she always keeps saying, they don't know what's coming, Beba. They don't know what's coming. They don't know what's coming. Because she hears what I'm creating and what I'm working on and who I'm working with. And
she's not like Bob
you
from La
know.
Bamba when she's in there.
no.
I didn't hear a difference in one of them. 150
No, she's
takes.
actually learned a lot about the process, you know, and whatnot. But I'm just very, very thankful that I'm in this situation, and I'm taking the blessings as God is giving them to me. And I feel that if God's going to bless me with the studio and bless me with bringing artists to me, then I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. You know, we do have. I mean, we're goal setters. Like we set out goals, right? Every year we're like, this is what we want to do. This is what we're going to do. But how do we know we're going to make it to that end of that year? You know what I'm saying? So in the meantime, I'm still doing what I love and taking advantage of the blessings that God has given me along the way. Because once I started taking on these artists to produce, I prayed about it and I was like, God, am I deterring backwards? You know, when I had already was answering that there's another calling for me outside of music, you know, I already made that decision. I'm retiring because I'm going to go to school next year. Am I like taking the side road, you know, to something else? But then I realized, no, this is
part of your
this
path.
is part of it. This is part of it. And I mean, I'm just going to follow my heart, whatever it is. And I'm going to, you know, pray on it. And it's all in God's hands. And wherever God leads me is where I'm going to go, you know, and, you know, right now I'm in the studio also recording my Christian album, which is something I'd been wanting to do for a long, long, long time. I had always dreamed of writing Christian music, and I had never written Christian music. I just never found the words to write them. It was weird until one day in 2010, I was listening to Francesca Battistelli, who's one of my favorite Christian artists, and it brought me to tears, like listening to what she was saying
The lyrics,
about
some
God. I
lyrics,
was
yeah,
like,
for sure.
how beautiful this is. Oh my gosh. And it really dropped me to my knees, no lie. And I prayed to God, and I was like, God, one day I hope that you bless me with the words to sing about you. And one day I was just laying down and this melody just came to me. And I went and I grabbed my guitar and I started playing this little riff, right? And I just started singing, I want to sing your praises. I want to lift your name on high. And like the whole song just came out. And I was like, thank you, God, right? And then another song came out, and then another song came out. And
Just like that.
Just like that. And there was one that is going on my album. It's called Define My Way to You. This one is like, oh man, I every time I sing Christian music, I cry. Like I cry. Like I recorded on my YouTube channel, Speak the Name. That's one of the songs that I covered and I put on my YouTube channel. The day that I was recording that video, I think I did it like 15 times.
Because you were crying.
Because I would cry. The first line out, yeah, yori yori. But the Christian album will be out, God willing, before the end of the year. My cousin Tony Lares, who's my guitar player, he was in my very first band when we were 13. And he writes beautiful Christian music. And so I've been very blessed that he's, given me some of the songs and I've arranged them. And I'm working with Kiki Herrera, who we call Cuz, who he actually played bass for the Divas when Las Tres Divas toured together. He was our bass player, and he's an amazing engineer, amazing arranger, great musician, and a very strong man of God. And he was the one that I felt that I needed to do this album with, because we were both on the same spiritual realm of what we were, the message of why we were doing this album. So that one is still coming out. My live album from Las Vegas will be coming up for download very soon for the fans. So there's still a lot.
My final question for Shelly Lares is, when Shelly Lares hangs up the red sticks and the microphone, 10 years are going to go by. Is there Shelly Lares music that's somewhere on a shelf that may appear one day?
There's always going to be music. I'm always writing music.
No, but I'm saying...
I will be honest right now. The one thing that I won't ever stop recording, if I ever feel the need to record it, is Christian music. That I won't ever stop. For a lot of reasons, for the obvious reasons,
Right.
But that would probably be it. I mean, I still have hundreds of country songs that I've written that I never recorded a country album. Everyone's always asked me for one. I've always wanted to do.
And for the record, she wears her cowboy hat.
Yeah, I do. I have to be in the mood for it.
Like this. You know where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Shelly made a post. She's like, for the record, I wore my cowboy hat.
Well, you know what?
The right way.
Then I realized it. I was like, you know what, though? If you go back to my Tu Solo Tus picture, that's how they placed my hat. They did.
So you had
So
they probably used that. That's probably what they used to make that part.
Yeah, when the Selena series came out and Linda Olin portrayed me. Linda and I have since become
That's awesome,
friends.
dude, to have somebody portray you in a series.
Talk about
bro.
weird. I know. Well, I mean, I'll be honest. When I found out that there was a series coming out and that I possibly was going to be on it, I was like, oh, shit. I was like, this isn't going to be good. I was like, I'm honest. I did not feel good about it. I was like, what's going to happen? This is why I didn't feel good about it. Because I wasn't asked experiences, and the only other person that was with me isn't here anymore. So how are people going to know what our conversations were? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Are they going to make them up? Are they going to Hollywood it like they do? They did everything else. Is that what's going to happen? But then, I just saw that it was a performance. Although the very line where it appeared that AB was trying to take Chris from us, I mean, that didn't happen. So that was Hollywood. But when I saw Linda on stage, she's actually a musician. She's an indie artist, a badass one too. She's more rockera kind of. And since the series, we've become friends. We keep in touch through Instagram quite a bit.
I want to know, just for the people watching, for the record, did you watch the whole thing at
I
one
didn't
time?
watch any of it.
No, so you didn't even see the parts you still haven't
I
seen?
saw that part because fans were tagging me on it.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like, okay, let's see what's happening. And I was like, okay. And then another thing, I told Linda this. I said, Linda, we talked about the hat. We talked about the hat. And she just laughed about it. Then the second thing that she and I talked about was, I said, Linda, and then they had you holding a beer off stage, like right after your show. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. So, two things we were wrong about this.
I'm trying to have a drink with Shelly, and she's like, "Nah, I don't do that." So we'll see. We'll see if maybe in Milwaukee we can.
Maybe after Saturday night.
There you go. There you go.
But not for sure not Friday. For sure not before Saturday night. That ain't gonna happen.
Shelly, I want to thank you, man. Not for being on the show. I want to thank you for the many memories you've given me since I can remember listening to Tejano music. You know, I don't tell all the artists, but, you know, I remember you doing, you, and we're not going to go all up into that, but, you know, the last time we were here, I told you about the USO tour.
Yeah.
And you got to see us
Yeah.
on the other, right? What it's like to be
Absolutely
out there. And, you know, we always get thanked. Military members always get thanked for their service, and I'm always appreciative of that. But I like to thank you personally because your music always reminds us of home. No matter where we're at, no matter what nasty part of the world we're in, sleeping on the ground somewhere cold or hot or wet. Nowadays, with technology, you know, we have our phones that we take, maybe not have service, but we have our music in there.
Yeah.
And when we hear a song that takes us back to a day of dancing with our wives or you know, your teenage years or whatever, right? It just brings that memory.
Yeah.
That enough for you is for me personally, I'm speaking of me personally, was just like it always reminds me that home is still home.
Yeah.
And the world's still spinning, right? We're not just stuck
Right.
in this place, and we're eventually going to get back home.
Right.
You know what I mean? So your music did that for me.
Oh, thank you.
And I can't thank you enough for that. And then, you know, for all the fans, I'm not speaking for all of them, but I'm going to speak for myself. Again, thank you for the wonderful years of entertainment, your music. And now, you know, that I more of a friendship that I have with you, it means a lot to me. Honestly, it really does. And again, I do this show not for notoriety or anything. I do this show because I like to ask stuff and carry conversations that I would have, like, fans wish that they could have that conversation,
exactly.
right? And so, you know, that's really the whole purpose of the show, so people can see how personable you are. You know what I mean? A lot of times you go on a radio station and it's like, hey, what's your new single? You know, where are you playing that next? You know, this, that, and the other. And I like to just veer away from that sometimes and just kind of get who Shelly Lares is. One more question.
Okay.
What is your favorite road food?
Oh, well, everybody, we don't have it all the time, but, we'd have to say Bob Evans.
Bob Evans?
Yeah. Bob Evans for sure.
Breakfast?
Yeah. Damn straight.
Not
Bob Evans. But
not
okay.
the Waffle House?
But okay. Oh, man. Well, you know, there's a few. There's a list. Okay, we're in that area where the Bob Evans Midwest, which is where we're going, by the way, people. You know, with the Bob Evans, of course. If you're more Texas, absolutely Whataburger. Hello. I mean, that's like gold to us if we're after the show and everything else is closed. Then the last resort, you know, would be, you know, truck stop food.
What's your favorite truck stop food?
Well, this is when I used to eat like chimichangas and that.
I was about to say the fried
I don't
burritos,
eat that
the
anymore.
chimichangas.
Yeah, I don't eat that anymore. So I'm kind of limited. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you don't have that. You don't have the luxury of eating especially when we play in the small towns. Everything's closed.
Gas station.
Glass station. I mean, that's it. Chips.
Check your dates.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, we check the dates.
Dude, I'm
On the Lunchables, we check the dates.
a can of wieners,
That's it.
the little Vienna sausages.
it.
I'm like, I'm good. Like,
That's it. That's it. That's all you need. That's
was
all
like,
you need.
But Shelly, no, on the real, man, thank you for coming on here. It is special for me. It's special for the people to see you. I know all the people in the Midwest are super excited. I was getting
We're
messages all week like, man, you're gonna have Shelly and you guys are coming. So they were super excited. You have a long day tomorrow. I have a long day
Yeah.
tomorrow. I still got a place to go right after this.
I know.
So,
I know. I don't feel sorry for you then.
there you go. I have all the time to sleep on the plane.
Yeah,
right?
you do. You do. Or you
but-
can say like Carla and Sonia do. I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead.
There you go. You see when you're 6 feet down, that's when you can.
But no, I want to say thank you to you, Bumper. I mean, I'm so proud of you for following your passion and going with it. Like I said, God, obviously God is opening up doors for you in this realm of a fan into someone, like I said, that's helping document our industry. And I just want to say thanks to the fans out there. You guys have been so amazing. I'm so humbled and grateful every day for every day that I get a chance to represent Tejano music, because Tejano music is who I am, who I will always be. That's never going to change. But don't look at it as like, oh, well, you're just going to, giving up. I'm telling you, I'm still going to be on the sidelines, still going to be producing, mentoring, eventually signing artists to Shell Shock Records 3. And, but I do have my personal goals.
At an
going
event,
to school.
one
and
or two events here and there.
she's going to want to utilize that stage we got back there. So I'm sure it's going to happen in some way, shape, or form. As long as we don't get no folklorico dancers on there, it's going to collapse. But no, just thank you to all the fans. And, Milwaukee, we're ready for you. The girls are excited. And thanks to my peers, my musical brothers and sisters that came on and, said all those beautiful things. I mean, they really do mean a lot to me. They really do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shelly Lares, like, never disappoints. So to everybody in the Midwest, man, if you want to catch her all
One
weekend
last
long,
time.
we'll one last time there in the Midwest. She'll be up there. There's still plenty of tickets. If you're in Ohio, Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, let's not forget all these places. If I forgot, if you're close by, make it up there. We're gonna have a good time. I'm looking forward just to hanging out with my friends.
Yeah, it's
honestly,
gonna be
like
awesome.
that's really what I'm looking for. The camaraderie of the Tejano, and believe it or not, there is a lot of camaraderie. No matter
Yeah,
what
is.
you hear, there is a lot of camaraderie out there. And to all the young artists out there, like, you got to grind.
That's right.
Right here, who knows? 40 years from now, you might be doing I don't know what they'll be then, but you might be doing an interview somewhere saying, "Hey, I did 40 years in the Tejano music industry." So again, Shelly,
Thank you.
thank you
Appreciate
so
it,
much.
Bumper. Love you,
And
brother.
before I forget,
Yeah,
after a
he was
long wait,
fraggy, he wanted a flat bill, so that's a one-of-a-kind little flat bill for you.
you
there.
heard it right here, one of a kind. So if you
Yes.
see it, try to take it and see. You might get a
to the
Shelly
throat.
Lares karate chop to the throat. That's what you might get. So again, see you guys this weekend. Milwaukee,
Yeah.
Wisconsin's the place to be. Shelly, thank you so much.
Thank
you guys
you,
have a wonderful,
guys.
wonderful week, and we'll see you